only telling him
heartbreaking. It grieves me to give it airtime, but I will for the purpose of letting them hang themselves like Mordecai.
Of a satanic, ritual, cannibal, sex pedophile group.
Forgive me if I walk away. It's really unpleasant, but for the purposes of
your children, your children, when you've been in their life, an amazing relationship, and so when you hear this from your children, you just can't comprehend what's going on, and you've got to.
The police didn't watch the original videos made on holiday. Instead, they took the children through their stories, interviewing them separately. Listening to those interviews, what strikes me is how matter-of-fact the youngsters are about what they're saying. Once again, their words are spoken by an actor.
The party's for 6 hours. It starts from the morning, and I'm not sure which time in the morning. It's like school time. Instead of lessons, instead of literacy, numeracy and science, we had a sex party and we ate babies.
They don't sound a bit like the children, and you cannot act, as we saw with Dylan, you cannot act.
The 9-year-old girl volunteers freely her involvement in killing babies and tells the police even the kitchen staff are involved.
Instead of making those the children's lunches,
what an insult.
They give baby to the children.
They give the baby to the children?
Even their selection of actors' voices, that's abuse. That's abuse that they're just doing right there.
Say there's spaghetti bolognese that day, they put a bit of baby
I hope
meat
that's
in
not
it
children being asked to
all the
ridicule the truth of disclosures
How
of
do they
horror.
make the baby meat to use in spaghetti bolognese? I don't understand.
Because you cut the baby.
The children describe teachers
I just encourage people of any discernment
but when the police
find the real
to
disclosures.
point these out, they fail to do so.
They are online.
Finally,
I think
in the
millions have viewed them.
The children admit they made it up, coerced by their mother's boyfriend, Abraham Christie. The boy says,
I lied about it because he made me say it. None of it was real. The plastic willies were not true.
Oh, God forgive you, Melanie Abbott. God forgive you, Joe Kent, the producer of this show. God forgive you.
He told me to say that, and I said, why, Abraham, that's not true though.
The same way they brutalised the children by making them retract, this is offensive to actually hire so-called child actors to discredit truth. It's more abuse by the BBC. Shame on you. Shame on you.
Because he wanted this. They dance around with baby squads in the church, don't they? That's what Abraham told me, and I said, no, they don't. And he said, yes, they do. Stop lying, you little brat.
Based on this,
that's what he told me.
They should go around and interview all Jimmy Savile's victims and ridicule them too. Why not hire an actor to ridicule disabled hospital patients or children's home? How dare they so soon after Savile insult people's intelligence?
Brought about quite a change. The children were only allowed raw food. A favourite with Abraham was hemp soup, a plant closely related to cannabis, which the children said gave them stomachache. And he saw himself as their discipliner. The children told police he hit them with a spoon if they didn't do as he wanted, or poured cold water over them.
It won't
He has
fly.
a record of violence and drug offences.
I don't know if you can hear this.
My name is
I'm sure you can get it on BBC
I'm excited to welcome you
archive.
and share my experience of face yoga.
Ella Draper and Abraham Christie presented a rather different public face when they promoted their company selling hemp products and Ella's yoga business.
I can only draw the conclusion that these are not naive journalists. These are not even scared BBC people of losing their job, although that's possible, or losing their life, as in Jill Jando.
How it can do the same for you.
This level of complicity is sinister.
Hair and her striking blue eyes. I wanted to find out a bit more about her as a person. So I've come to Hampstead, where she lived. It's a quiet terrace road, really quite modest by Hampstead standards. And I'm hoping some of the neighbours here will talk to me about her.
My God.
Hello, good morning. Her neighbour invited me in to tell me what she made.
I bet that took a lot of selecting.
When they first lived there, she was most overpoweringly friendly. I did visit the house to have very strange herbal tea.
How long did they live there for?
About 18 months. She came towards the end of 2013, and that was fairly peaceful. And then she went on holiday and returned with the boyfriend, and then it all started.
What was he like?
Horrid, very rude. He wasn't, I think, very nice with the children from what I could hear, but he would shout at them. But I didn't hear very much of that. She continued to be reasonably pleasant to me right through.
So how do you know he would shout at them?
Calling over the wall after her holiday, how was I, and that sort of thing. As it went on, I had a lot of disturbance with noise, strange music through the wall in the middle of the night. On one occasion, my former upstairs neighbour, she went to complain about some noise, and the little boy was sitting on the doorstep in just his knickers, weeping because they locked him out. I don't know how much of this kind of thing went on, but my neighbour was quite shocked.
Well, that's hearsay right away.
Scruffy. There were plenty of foreign holidays. The house they rented was marketed at £3,000 a month. It was empty, with a smart silver Jaguar in front when I visited. Someone who got to know Ella Draper far better was a fellow yoga lover, Sabine McNeil, who became Ella's legal advisor.
She is not only a vegan, but she has been raw food and a nutritional expert for oodles of years. So
that's very different. Being
drink hemp juice as well.
Hemp juice is legal. You can buy it in Holland and Barrett. Hemp seed is. I had cancer and ordered it legally. Hemp oil. It's huge. Even in America, they finally admitted that it could be the cure for cancer. So this whole hemp thing is
the children were in care. The police had dismissed the case, and no one in authority gave credence to a satanic cult running riot in Hampstead.
No one gave
Sabine
credence,
McNeil
really.
believed the children's original story and submitted an expert witness statement claiming the police investigation was flawed.
Check out
She also
Sabine's
has a
blog.
website about the case, which links to blogs suggesting the police interviewing the children are using a secret cult sign language.
Also,
And on her
check
site,
out
the
Jackie
videos
Farmer,
are breaking the law
1984,
about not
to
identifying
Hampstead.
children
It's called
in care
Hampstead
proceedings.
Research.
Sabine says she's never posted a video herself, but did email them to people
Or
she
Google
thought should be aware
YouTube
of them.
Sabine McNeil making a representation in the European Petitions Committee about forced adoptions. The woman, very highly educated and very well respected in Europe.
Not in my view of justice.
But what about the justice of the identities of these children now being known all over the world?
Well, what's the problem? If that is the only way to get them out of care, and that was the last resort.
The children were
you don't know
so
that was the only
happy
way to
to
get
tell
them
the
out of
truth,
care.
they would have shouted it from the rooftops.
Who cares about identity?
Nobody else
reality of the children is they
picks
are
up if you
suffering.
put a video of your children doing their dance recital or at Christmas.
And ended up online
These children were telling
often with Abraham
horrors,
questions.
and they will be proud of it. I believe they changed history. I believe this is a watershed. If we don't stand up to abuse and cover up now, we never will. Here they go again with the disgusting acting voice. God forgive them. If I was the mother of those child actors doing voiceovers, I would sue them. I would sue the BBC for this.
Yes.
What's Max Clifford in jail for? How many testimonies are there of abuse of child actors?
Teachers have tattoos on their privates, you say?
Yeah, they are the devil tattoos.
Names of the special 20 who were the two children's classmates and their parents were posted
The children
online.
drew
We've spoken
and
to the parents of
described
two
in
different
detail
children.
distinguishing
Their words are read by
tattoos,
actors.
piercings and birthmarks and blemishes on their abusers. Not one alleged abuser has been examined or even presented themselves to be examined to clear their name. Why not? Very simple. Birthmark, not there, bingo. They did it with Michael Jackson, how come not here?
Together with all other parents named, we've been receiving malicious phone calls, emails.
No forensic preservation of the crime scenes.
People knocking on their doors 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning.
Heartbreaking.
Emails started around.
Not heartbreaking, scandalous, outrageous, illegal,
People we were.
brazen,
I know people who've been told that
arrogant.
We know where you are. We're coming to get you.
This is
Only takes one person to do something silly.
this is like
You've got to
Caligula.
remember
They're behaving like
these
Caligula.
children
David Cameron is,
who are at
the
an
Queen
age
is,
where,
Prince
you know,
Charles is,
they're
Prince
not
Philip
even
is.
aware
They're
of
behaving
things.
like Caligula. They're behaving like demented.
Yes, recently my daughter did. I was
mad.
horrified and, you know, quickly took over because horrific things
Demons.
come up, and you know it's a loss
And
of
the BBC,
innocence,
their
a whole
mouthpiece.
swathe of children. If they Google even their own name at any point in the future, this will come up.
The children will be proud to Google their name if they get free. If they get free, they've been 6, 7 months. They told the truth at the risk of being killed as their father had threatened them, they allege. They thought they were free, and then
Yes,
the British justice system got hold of them.
They will take innocent things like
Snapped
this
them.
and try to read other things into
The first police that investigated seemed to do the right thing, took them for medical exams, totally corroborated their disclosures. Evidence of chronic, long-term, severe, blunt trauma abuse.
Why people believe the stories of the Satanic cult.
Documented by the same doctor that could have saved baby P's life if she'd been believed. Very well respected doctor specialising in child sexual abuse. She had flagged baby P as being in severe danger, and her evidence was discounted then. And that would have saved baby P, could have saved baby P's life. And now, what did they do? They wheeled out another expert witness to rebut her evidence again. So God forbid, but this, literally, what's being done by the judiciary, the BBC, Hoffley, and the corrupt police, not all of them are, because many of them are leaking information to the Defence Research Team. A lot of the police are breaking ranks and doing the right thing. But if these people had their way, you'd have 2 more children dead, not at the hands of their mother and stepfather, but because it's all trying to be covered up and discredited.
He's a regular on conspiracy theory websites.
Conspiracy
says the
theory.
more he investigated this
Do you not
case,
see where this
the
is
more
going?
he realised it
If you
wasn't
want to
true.
hear the truth,
start looking into the actual
watch
facts,
The
you find
Simpsons or
none of them stand up. None of
you
them.
know, movies which have the truth hidden in them. If you want to watch fiction, watch the mainstream media news.
Everyone deserves a chance to see the truth of it, but some people don't.
And so are in the end
call
times.
you a paedophile supporter, you're a Satanist, and it's just scary how it can become a witch hunt over a witch hunt.
Material on the internet continued spreading, along with demands for the accused to bare their genitals, even after a High Court judge looking into the allegations expressed dismay about
The High Court
confidential
judge
material
is
being leaked. Police
is
went to talk
already
to Ella Draper about
been.
it in February this year.
We'll see what unfolds. Her actions are outrageous, and
This
whether
was a
England
recording made
will,
inside the house when the police arrived.
you know,
Again,
whether England
turned up on
believes
the
they
internet.
are all
While
against
the
the law
police were
corporately.
outside,
Maybe this is
Ella
why they
flared
play
up
the
to
European
that
card both ways.
And she wasn't
We're
in court
sovereign, we
last
don't want to be in
month,
Europe,
and the investigating
but we
judge
want the goodies,
gave her
but we won't
conclusions
do
about
what you
the
tell us,
case.
but we can invade Iraq,
Dismissing the
and
allegations
we
as
get with
utter
America and do what they
nonsense.
say.
The judge said the children had been coerced.
They
into
still
making
think
them
they're
up
the
by
empire
Ella
or something.
Abraham. She said
I'm not
their
knocking
lives
Britain
were
per se,
threatened,
I'm just saying to
their
the real
grip on
British
reality
people,
was imperiled,
don't
and they
don't
were
allow this to
subjected
happen, not on your
relentless
watch.
emotional and psychological pressure, as well as significant physical abuse. She went so far as to describe it as torture. The judge criticised the police
Hoffley
for
even
failing
got her
to
facts
watch the
wrong.
original recordings they received,
She
showing the children
published
being coerced
her
by Ella Draper and her
opinions
boyfriend.
of it being
The
a
police
fantasy,
say they were making other,
and called that a
time-sensitive
judgment.
inquiries. And the judge criticised
And
the paediatrician
the audacity
who identified
here,
possible signs of
the
sexual abuse
paediatrician.
for standing by that opinion when the only piece of evidence relied on the result of one controversial test on one child. The doctor's employers told us they are satisfied
Again,
that she exercised her clinical
another
judgment
inaccurate.
appropriately.
That's the same doctor that was discredited who flagged baby P. How many more children are going to suffer when this doctor is doing a brilliant job and being shut up and shut down?
Child killer.
One person who hasn't been there is Sabine McNeil, who, like Ella Draper, has fled. Despite being on the run, she agreed to talk to us. I asked her why
Sabine fled because she was going, as they always do, the mother and legal advisor disclosed to the police. The first lot of police were honest,
Well, you see, that's what
and then
I
they
find
got the
so
case
strange.
taken off them,
How come that a
and then
judge
they tried to turn it around, arrest the mother, arrest the lay advisor, frame the stepfather.
Videos, audio,
I'm glad they
and
escaped.
documents, and she comes to a completely opposite conclusion than I do. What's the difference? What do you reckon?
The difference is that she is a High Court judge. She has weighed up all the evidence carefully.
There's plenty of High Court judges in the dock with child pornography, as in Cameron's advisor on child pornography.
The boy
just
originally
been
says
found
that
guilty of
200
child
people were
pornography.
involved in the abuse. The girl says it's 20.
Every time they refer to numbers, they don't have a sense of
So it's
numbers.
not-
Whether
The
it's
boy describes being in a disabled toilet with
Check.
20 people abusing.
Aha.
Well, maybe
The
not
disabled
so many.
toilet is part of a huge changing room which locks.
Babies are being freighted in.
Journalists
that
from
their heads
UK
are being
column
cut off,
went and did a
and then
reconnaissance of all the
babies are being
geographical
cooked and eaten,
evidence
sometimes
the
in
children gave in their
You really think all of this
evidence.
happened?
It absolutely, we have photographs, it's all documented. They were,
want to believe it and have real
there is no
reasons for
way
believing.
that
That doesn't mean that I
you
don't.
can't get this wrong. This is
What
deliberate.
we should remember about this whole case
This is
that the
willful
centre of it are two small
refusal
children whose future is
to
yet
believe
be decided. And I've
victims
just left a High Court hearing
of child
just
sexual
trying
abuse
to do that.
and worse.
And I was surprised to find a solicitor there representing Ella Draper. But what seemed bizarre is he has no idea where Ella Draper is now. If he wants to speak to her, he emails and she calls him back from a withheld number. Her solicitor said she'd only appear in court if there was a guarantee
So
she
many
wouldn't be
mothers.
remanded in custody.
Melanie Shaw,
The
whistleblower,
children's
she's
father,
in
Ricky
prison.
Dearman, now wants his son and
She's
daughter to live with him.
whistleblown,
He
and
knows
it's been
if that
proven to be
happens,
true.
His biggest hurdle will be
She's
helping
in
them
prison,
recover
being
from all
harassed
this.
and being brutalised and having her meds withheld and on solitary confinement. Just take a look, just do a little bit of work on how many mothers that have done the right thing and gone to the police or social services for help because their children have disclosed abuse and have ended up themselves in prison and their children taken, forced into adoption, given back to the paedophile, alleged paedophile. This is trafficking. This is child trafficking in Britain with laws that have been put in place over 30, 40 years since Thatcher with all the paedophile cabinet. They've strategically put paedophiles in place to introduce, recommend new laws to support child trafficking.
A mess. But I was there. Now,
Peter
there
Reitman,
are two
Cyril
different
Smith.
children right there.
They're recovering.
Big time.
There's a case coming up
Are
with
the
Kenneth
children
Clark.
aware
That
that these
whistleblower was
videos
put in prison. He's
are
on
out
the
there?
tagged, gagged, bound.
These conversations with them. This is about
Tagged, gagged,
trying to
not
get
allowed on the
them
internet.
into some normality.
Was kept in prison,
maybe what's going on again, I don't know.
harassed,
They-
intimidated, burgled, evidence
they want
stolen.
me to know it's not out there.
Robert Green,
Because they've said things about me.
the legal advisor for Holly Gregg,
Need
that was not a
extra
hoax.
care.
Trust me, that was not a hoax.
And
The
I
truth will
know
come out.
that as the months and years go by, they're going to be fine. I truly believe that.
What about you yourself? What support have you been getting as the man named as the leader of this satanic cult who murders babies?
Google,
Yeah.
seriously, if you do nothing else,
I mean,
just do some research on Ricky
Why do you think
Dearman.
people do persist in believing it?
I will put
believe
up
this is the biggest
police
injustice
reports
that anyone could ever
with
do
his
to another
history
human
of
being. Because
domestic
there's
violence,
going to be a time in the future
non-molestation orders, recommendations by the police that his wife take charges against him, connections to child pornography distribution,
Shame on them. What would you
travel.
say to Ella now?
It's a classic. It's
I
a
think that she's gonna have done
stereotypical,
something that she
absolute
and she can't back down.
You know, we still aspire to have, and I still think there are good police and good people in every establishment. I'm risking my life by talking the truth like this, but there comes a point when fear is not a good enough reason to tolerate children being used as playthings for perverts who happen to be running the country. I believe this man, I suggest, let me say, how shall I say, how do they say in court? There's some word where you propose, think of it. Anyway, I suggest he's actually the modern day version of Savile. He's the pimp to the rich and famous. He's the pimp, the Hampstead pimp. And the reason they're releasing things like the other scandals, Oxford, Rotherham, Sheffield, all over, but not this one, because Hampstead is too upper class, too many key people live there, too many politicians, too many celebrities, too many civil servants, too many. They don't want it to, you know, we'll throw the others to the dogs, we'll even give you Rolf Harris and, you know, we'll investigate Cliff Richard, we'll give you a few has-beens, we'll give you a few low-level civil servants, but don't come to Hampstead, good God, don't come to Buckingham Palace, don't come to Parliament, God forbid. When you sweep the stairs, you start from the top. That was predictable. My interview wasn't included. I don't think I even heard Carolyn's. That's a bit disturbing. It's over. All they did was include Sabine sounding angry and failed to show her. That's called righteous anger. That's called righteous anger. Failed to show her credentials, her history, her reputation in Europe. I just give it to you, the public, and I trust every single person watching this, even those that would normally troll and make insults, personal insults, try and bully online. Stop. Ordinary people telling the truth. I'm a mother, I'm a grandmother, I'm an abuse survivor, I'm an I'm a retired journalist, I'm a whatever. It doesn't matter, I'm just a human being, not willing to sweep this under the carpet, and not just because it's a hobby horse to me. No right-minded person will let this go. I'll post links. I just pray that everybody will follow their heart and their conscience. We all have one. If you're breathing, you still know right from wrong. Even you, Dearman, and Forsdyke and everybody else that's alleged to have done this.